So hi and welcome to today's video. So basically today I'm actually going to be doing a review, and that is of a detailing spray, and it's called Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer. It's also known as Sonax BSD. So it is actually this product here. So I've actually tried this product quite a lot over the past sort of year or so. I wanted to make a review about it, just kind of talk about it a bit more. Obviously, as you can see, I've got basically barely any of it left, so I've used this product quite a bit, and wanted to make a review sort of and kind of really discuss how I've tested it and really kind of how it's performed, who it'd be good for, and whether I'd recommend it basically. So first of all, basically talking about what the product actually is. So I've touched on it just there. It's known as a detailing spray. However, it's a little bit, I think the product's a little bit more than that, and I probably wouldn't class it as sort of a traditional quick detailer spray that's just supposed to kind of spruce up the finish a bit after washing, or anything kind of like that, just for that kind of really light cleaning, not removing like dust and dirt and things like that, but just very light cleaning, removing like fingerprints and stuff like that. Obviously this product will do that. It is a detailing spray, so it can do that. However, it's probably more on the edge of kind of a spray sealant. So obviously you've got spray waxes and things like that that are sort of provide a little bit more protection than a detailer would. A spray sealant is sort of similar to that in a way. It doesn't contain any kind of natural wax, so it is obviously a synthetic kind of sealant type product. But it's definitely something that offers more protection than most of the quick detailers out there, and that kind of more durability. So it's a little bit like that. So in terms of how you'd use this product, you could definitely use it as a quick detailer. Dry your car down. If you see any kind of fingerprints, smudges and things like that, you could use this product to remove that. However, I've seen a lot of people use it as drying aids, which is something that I've done in the past. So when the car's still wet, you would wipe it down with a microfiber towel as normal, but you'd put a bit of the product onto your microfiber towel and also actually on the panel as well, and kind of use that to really kind of lubricate the finish as you're drying, sort of reduce the risk of scratches and things like that. But you could also use this potentially as a protection product. So not usually as a standalone product, because it isn't quite as durable as you probably want for that. In some cases you might want to use it, but it's not something I would personally use as a standalone product, but it can be used sometimes as a topper. So I know I think John on Forensic Detailing channel has used this over, you can kind of see it back there, but Fuso coat, which is something I've tried as well. It's very hydrophobic, so it goes over some sealants. You can potentially use it as kind of a topper to just really get a little bit more life out of your sealant or your coating underneath. So generally now I'm going to basically, once I've sort of introduced products, just want to really talk about a few different things. So sort of the ease of application, the finish, and kind of how hydrophobic it is, what situations you might want to use it, and also my kind of final thoughts on it. So that's basically where the video is going to kind of go from here. So really starting off with the ease of application. So a lot of detailing sprays, you can just sort of throw them on and they're very easy. You just wipe them off and they don't leave any streaks or anything like that. This is almost like that. It's basically, you can kind of sort of see it in the bottle. It's not super thin. It's more, you can kind of see how it sort of sticks when you pour it. It's quite a thick sort of, I wouldn't say gel-like, because it's not quite like that, but it's a thicker sort of product than most detailing sprays that tend to be quite thin and just essentially like consistency of water. It is a bit thicker, so when you sort of slap it on the panel and wipe it over, you can get some sort of streak and you can see the product. So essentially what you would do is usually apply it with your microfiber towel, and then either use a new microfiber or flip the microfiber and wipe off the kind of excess, and that's how you're going to really get the best finish out of this. If you wanted to use it as a sort of drying aid, or you're kind of wanting to maybe knock back the product a little bit, so you can just sort of slap it on the finish and on the paint and not really run into those kind of streaking issues, then you can actually dilute this product. So that's something I've done as well. So I've diluted it 1 in 2, but even still you could probably knock it back even more than that. If you wanted to dilute it even more, then you could definitely get some more out of it. If you dilute it, you can pick bottles like this up off Amazon, pretty cheap, and dilute products like that. So I've used that. I found it easier to use when it was diluted. I actually preferred the products when it was diluted. So if you want to kind of get double the amount of products there, then definitely if you want to kind of increase how easy it is to apply, you can dilute it without sort of really losing what the product actually does. So it's something to kind of keep in mind if you are on about using this product. The next thing I kind of really wanted to talk about was the finish. So obviously it's called Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer. So you would expect it to be, you know, super glossy, really kind of leave a very glossy finish. It leaves a good finish, but I have made a video on this on why I don't think you can kind of get your hopes up too much in terms of waxes and they're making your car shiny. A lot of it comes down to paint condition, but that's something else I talked about on another video. I'll probably leave a link to that in the description if you are interested. But basically, don't expect to put this on your car and it completely transformed the way your car looks. If I'm honest, when I've washed my car and then put this on afterwards, I don't really notice that much of a difference. Maybe on another car you would. Generally, if you're keeping your car in good paint condition, you're probably not going to notice a huge amount of difference using this product. So it's called Brilliant Shine Detailer. It's not a flat finish by any means. It doesn't dull the paint. I don't think it, you know, it leaves a bad finish. But it's not the glossiest product I've ever tried. But I don't think you can kind of expect too much from these kind of products, even waxes. Obviously I've talked about this in another video, but on waxes I think a lot of them aren't actually that glossy. When you try them, you're not gonna, a lot of people won't even notice the difference that much anyway, but regardless, the finish looks good. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about was sort of the clarity of the finish. So generally you're gonna get a streak-free, smear-free finish, especially if you use it in a diluted concentration. If you're using it at full concentration, you're going to have to buff the product off to get that kind of streak-free, really clear finish. So just something to kind of keep in mind, sort of related to that. Then obviously in sort of relation to the actual finish, I want to kind of talk about how hydrophobic the product is. So this is really sort of the main selling point of this product. So it is incredibly hydrophobic on application. So it has very good beading, but for me, I'm probably more interested in how well it actually sheets water off the surface. So on application, it sheets water really fast. It's comparable to that Fuso coat. If I'm honest, I've not actually tried any ceramic coatings, but based on videos of them, it's not a million miles away. It's very hydrophobic products, and that is why it's got a lot of attention. It's why a lot of people like this product, to be able to get that kind of really water repellent finish from just a detail spray is really good. The only thing I would say about it in terms of how hydrophobic it is that on application it's amazing, there's no denying that, but it isn't, it's sort of, it's not a slick finish. You probably feel it more when you try it, but when you kind of glide your hand over it or glide a microfiber over it, which is probably a safe thing to do, basically it has a tendency to grab a little bit. Obviously the better you buff the product off, the less you're going to kind of run into that sort of issue, but it's not super slick. It doesn't sort of slide as much. So in terms of sheeting water, when you've left the car out for a couple of days and it gets dusty, that water repellency goes very quickly. It's something that I've noticed. So if you live in a dusty climate, or even if you're driving in the rain and that sort of muddy water splashing up on your car, it's not going to have that sort of, we talk about this kind of self-cleaning ability, which sort of sounds a little bit gimmicky, but it's basically, to me anyway, it's sort of talking about how different products sort of sheet water off the surface, and the kind of repellent, they'll just push water straight off the surface. So when you get mud splashed on it and things like that, then it'll essentially just get washed away. It won't stick on the car. With this, I find it sticks a little bit more. So I tried it on my car a few months ago really, and the car looked great when I first did it. I was really pleased, and then 2 days later I thought, do you know what, it needs washing again. And it hadn't actually rained, it was just dusty, and it does have a tendency to kind of, it doesn't really have that kind of self-cleaning ability that some of the other products that sheet water rather than bead water have. So it's just something to keep in mind really, if you are on about sort of the finish of this product. It's not particularly slick. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the durability. So if you are using this as purely as a detailing spray, just to spruce up the finish after you've washed it, remove fingerprints and stuff like that, then obviously the durability is not going to be a massive issue for you, or not going to be a massive thing to consider. But if you're going to use this to top up another existing kind of coating, or you kind of want to use it as a sealant perhaps on its own, if that's what you want to do, then obviously the durability is going to be more of a kind of factor to consider. So in terms of detailing sprays, you're probably not going to find a more durable one than this. It is very durable. Now I think it claims around 8 weeks. I didn't get that. I got around 3, 4 possibly, if the conditions haven't been too bad. You know, I wasn't expecting miracles from it. 3 or 4 weeks from a detailing spray is very good. I keep my car outside, so, and the weather's not great here, so, you know, really I'm putting it under quite sort of harsh conditions when I'm testing these kind of durability of these products. It's kind of worst case scenario in a way. I got around 3 to 4 weeks, which I think is pretty good considering you just kind of throw it on after you've washed the car, or as a drying aid and things like that. So, you know, durability wise, it's good if you want to kind of use it as that if you want to kind of use it as a sealant type product rather than just a detailing spray to kind of spruce up the finish. Probably one of the best selling points of this product, bar how hydrophobic it is on application, is the cost of the product. So it is so cheap to get these products. I know we sell it in the UK for around, I think I picked this one up for £7.50 about a year ago. I had a quick look before I made this video as well, and basically I think it was about £8 that I saw, so it's so cheap. It's going to be a lot cheaper than a lot of the detailing sprays out there, particularly for how much you actually get. So double check, yeah, it's 750ml, so most come in a sort of 500ml bottle and still aren't below £10. So the fact that you get that amount of products for £8 is very, very good. You can't really argue with that, particularly when you can dilute it 1 in 2. You can essentially get 1.5 litres of this stuff, a good kind of concentration for £8. So in terms of value for money, really can't sort of, you know, fault this product at all there. It's very, very cheap. So now I kind of wanted to talk about, I've touched on it a little bit, but kind of the disadvantages and why you might not want to use this product. So realistically, if you're looking for something super slick that sheets water and is kind of going to keep the car looking cleaner for longer, this isn't probably what I would use, just because it's not really slick. It does have a tendency to kind of attract dust. Water doesn't sort of get thrown off it as much once it's been on the car for a few days. Personally, I wouldn't really use this product all the time for that kind of purpose, just because I prefer something that really sheets water. The beads look really impressive, they look great, but just the fact that kind of after a few days the finish can kind of tend to look a little bit dirty. The car can, if I'm honest, get dirty a little bit faster than other products I've tried. Then that's probably why I would, you know, not use this product all the time. Another thing that sort of bothers me a little bit about this product is basically when you put it on the coating or whatever, you put it on Fuso coat and things like that. I would expect, obviously having durability of sort of 3 to 4 weeks, things like that, that once it's gone, the coating underneath would be fine. You know, it's still once that had worn away, it'd still be hydrophobic. But with this, it does tend to mask whatever's underneath whatever wax or sealant you've got. So if you kind of want to keep topping up the product, it's fine. It's not gonna bother you. But for me, when it sort of wore away, I felt like I actually needed to apply the wax again, just because it sort of really masked that coating. So you kind of lost the protection of it, the hydrophobicity. The product was still there, but it did kind of mask the coating underneath. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want to top this product up all the time and you want to use it every few washes, then it's not going to bother you. But if you want to kind of stick it on just once, just to kind of tidy up the finish, maybe, you know, you've got some water spots after washing it, you've not been quick drying it or something like that, and you put it over the entire car, then keep in mind that you're probably going to have to do it again if you kind of want that finish. It's going to linger but not be as hydrophobic, if that kind of makes sense. Hopefully I've kind of explained that. So in terms of my sort of thoughts of the product, I do like the product. Obviously, as you can tell, the amount I've used basically, you can see there's probably about, I don't know, maybe 100ml left, probably not even that, about 50ml. I wouldn't have used all that if I didn't like the product. I'd have stuck it back on the shelf. It was only £8, so it wouldn't have bothered me that much. There are certain situations where I'd use this product, so I use it a lot of the time on like my family and friends' cars if I'm cleaning theirs and they manage to rope me into doing that, which to be honest, most of the time I probably volunteer anyway, but a lot of the time I'll use this just because if I'm washing their cars, I can't really be bothered waxing it and sealing it a lot of the time. So I'll just put this on after washing it, and it does tend to give it a bit of protection where I know they probably wouldn't appreciate it, but it helps me knowing that a car that hasn't got any wax on it has got something on it at least. In In terms of using it on my own car, it's not something that I tend to use anymore, particularly since kind of using this product here. So this is Geon Wet Coat, and this isn't going to be a full kind of comparison video. If you do want that though, feel free to comment down below if you kind of want that comparison. But basically this is as quick to apply, so it's got that tick, it's more durable, and it leaves that kind of slicker finish that has more of that self-cleaning ability. So I'd prefer a product like that as opposed to this sealant type here, this kind of quick detailer. Obviously if you're wanting those quick detailing, those cleaning abilities just after washing, then obviously you can't use a product like this. You've got to use something like this Sonax BSD. So it's definitely a product that has a sort of place on the shelf. It's probably something I will buy again. I think it's a good product to have, but there are definitely some kind of situations where I would use it and some where I probably would reach for another product. But hopefully you have enjoyed the video. If, by the way, actually you want to see a review of that, I'll leave a link in the description and a card on the screen as well to a full review I've done of that product if you're interested in that one instead. But I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful. If you've got any more questions about the products, anything I've not covered, then feel free to comment down below. I'll be answering the comments and making sure if you've got any more questions about it, then feel free to let me know. If you have enjoyed this video, then definitely sure to give it a like and comment, subscribe to the channel. Basically, if you are sort of interested in these kind of detailing videos, these product reviews and things like that, because I'm uploading these quite often, not reviewing every product on this shelf, but I'm reviewing some and I have already, so check out the channel, subscribe if you are interested in this kind of stuff. But thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.